Hey, welcome to Waking Up to Win.
I'm Annie.
And I'm Chad.
And this is your space for real estate motivation, mindset, and the kind of coaching that pushes you from stuck to a top producer.
We are all about helping agents work on their business, not just run ragged in it.
And we believe there is more than enough room at the top for everyone to win.
Let's dive in.
Hi, Chad.
Hi.
I like your hat.
Thanks.
Welcome.
I just
you hear
got
the
it.
rain? It's a good day for a hat.
It's a good day to be in a podcast room, too, because we have no idea the weather's shitty out here. It looks like a bright, sunny day on set.
I can hear it.
I know, but I think probably the listeners
I've been outside
can,
twice.
too.
I'm like, oh.
We probably should spray foam the ceiling in here so that people don't hear the noise from outside on the roof.
Yeah.
Like the one day when somebody was in here trying to film and the air conditioner guy was up there stomping around. It was like, oh, that's really loud.
Could they hear it?
I have no idea. It wasn't my this podcast. So.
It's a blackberry winter. That's what Lois would tell us.
Yeah, because it got up to 85 yesterday and I was sweating, and now we're going back down to 50-something today.
No, well, yeah, but there's going to be 4 days below freezing at night, so all them little spring flowers.
Go out, get out there and cover them. Put a styrofoam bucket over them at a bare minimum.
Yeah, there was some guy on YouTube saying, plant your tomatoes now and then cover them. I'm like, go to Schnucks.
I mean, that's one option. For sure. I think I'd like to plant them myself.
Really?
I don't, unfortunately, have the bandwidth to take care of that many plants to feed myself at this point.
I don't eat tomatoes, but apparently if you eat tomatoes, there's nothing like a homegrown tomato.
That is true.
Yeah, so maybe if I ate them.
So my parents have always grown two things at our house, no matter where we've been. Now they dabble in like extra stuff. Some years we get strawberries, and some years we get peppers.
I had strawberries.
Cucumbers and tomatoes every year at my parents' house, because my dad, one of his favorite things to do is make tomatoes, cucumbers, and onions salad.
Yeah.
And so, which I'm not sure why he's never grown onions, but he has never grown his own onions, which my husband's grandpa does in his garden. He's got like a
really
200-acre farm. They are. It's true.
It's like potatoes. It's really easy to grow potatoes.
It's really easy to grow onions too. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so tomatoes and cucumbers. I've always had homemade ones, which then makes it very difficult to...
Homegrown.
And, homegrown, not homemade. It does make it very difficult to eat ones from the store because they do taste very different. Say. And I'm sure it's the, genetic modifying to make them more sustainable and the pesticides and all of that, which I know is, probably not killing me at a rate that I care about, but... it does taste different.
I know. So I hear.
Aaron.
Yeah.
What's our inspirational quote for the week?
I know, leaving it up to me this week. So from our good old friend, Eleanor Roosevelt.
I love her.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
It's a good one.
It is a good one. Dreamers in the world. Sometimes I have a hard time with those kind of quotes, like if I'm being honest with you, because...
Too fluffy?
Dreaming is not something that I would say that I do, because... right?
I think you do.
Well, I know.
But you call it planning.
Right.
Instead of dreaming.
Exactly, because of my personality. That's what I'm saying. So sometimes I have a hard time with those quotes, but another word that I like to interchange with dream sometimes is imagine. Mm-hmm. Or imagination.
Yes.
But I think dream to me, like when you say that word, means is in sleep. And I don't remember my dreams. I'm quite sure that I have them because everybody does. It's your brain's way of cataloging the day's information. But
I think it's more of your outlook on the future. I think that's what I get from that. Like the person who's just existing and living their life, and we call them schlep rocks. Oh, he's me. Yeah. So but what's their future is the same as, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. They just live the same day over and over, complaining and not dreaming.
I mean, that would be miserable if I did that. Like the physical manifestation of my thoughts is for me the physical part of what you do every day and what's in front of you and what you have right now. And to think that I don't dream would be to think that I believe that is it. Mm-hmm. That physical manifestation that I have right now is it. And so you
would lose your will to live.
100% you would.
Thank you, Eleanor.
Yeah. So dream, people. Imagine, create. Even if it's inside of your own head and never comes to real life, it's still a very good thing to do. So I love that.
What's new this week?
I don't know. What did we learn?
And now you know. What did you think about the Lunch and Learn yesterday with Jacqueline Schmitz from Brightside?
Remind me who the Lunch and Learn was with, because a lot of things happened between yesterday and today.
We had a Lunch and Learn with Jacqueline from Brightside Insurance.
Oh yeah, our MVP insurance agent in the office.
Any eye-opening things yesterday?
A shit ton of them, which is awesome. That's one of the reasons why I love Jacqueline, because I think she's above the fray in the insurance industry for sure. But a couple of things that she said that jumped out to me. The first one was probably the fact that you have an insurance score. Yeah. That when you go to buy insurance is very similarly derived in the same way that your credit score is when you go to apply for a loan. That would be number one.
But what's it based on? Because I know she couldn't we can't look it up. There's no place to look it up like you can.
Well, just like you can't look up your mortgage credit score either, which I don't think a lot of people realize. So it's just like that, where each individual lending institution has a scoring model that they rely on. Now, in the credit industry, that scoring model is heavily regulated. So it's very similar, and it's very easy for like Credit Karma to estimate what your score is going to be. In the insurance industry, that's not the case. No. But each individual carrier or underwriter has their own model for issuing individuals insurance scores. Yep. And that insurance score...
And it's all inclusive. It's not just your homeowner.
Drastically affects the rate at which you get quoted for insurance.
And ability.
Yeah, and I don't remember all of the details. What are the details? Like, what are the pieces that make up that credit score? What does the insurance underwriter look at? I don't know if she gave us
all of them, but one that she weighed heavily on that was when she asked you all your information and wants your auto insurance, and people are like, I don't want you to quote my auto insurance. Well, that builds the picture.
Oh, yeah, she said that.
For your homeowner's insurance, that matters. If you've had 20 auto claims, that's going to affect that score, which is then going to affect your ability to get insurance or to get the best rate.
No, right. And in the lens that she came at that with was a lot of clients that she deals with, especially, because that was the whole conversation. They're realtor clients in the process of buying homes, and she always asks them for like their driver's license number and stuff like that. And people are apprehensive to give it to her because they don't understand why they're being asked for it. And so that was, because with your driver's license number, the insurance industry keeps track of every claim you personally file against any type of insurance, whether it's auto, homeowners, renters, liability, umbrella, whatever you have. So that was definitely interesting.
I know our agents were surprised. I think we were surprised at a lot of it, that we have this this misconception almost that it's a right. It's, I gotta have it. So how do you deny me? I can't buy a house if I don't have it. Right. It's kind of like you made the connection yesterday.
I did.
It's kind of like getting pre-approved for a home loan.
Right.
You may want to buy a house and you may think it's a right, but you may not have the ability.
Yeah, housing, as sad as it is not a right that you have as a human.
There's certain things that you have to do to be able to bring that to fruition.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're right. Yeah. It is weird. And I got it. So like I said that yesterday, and I got some very snippy responses to that statement yesterday in the thing. So what I said was there was that conversation, and then one of the people at the Lunch and Learn said, well, that's just wrong. How can you deny me insurance because I used my insurance that I'm paying for?
Right.
And I was like, that's an interesting perspective. And so then I was thinking about that. And to that answer, I said, well, because insurance is not a right that you're owed, it's a privilege that you have.
And insurance companies are actually not a non-for-profit. They're actually businesses that want to turn a profit.
Well, then the counter argument was made to that statement that I just said that, yeah, but we're required by law to have it. We were talking about homeowners or auto insurance at that point.
Okay, I was going to say you're not required by law to have homeowners.
But we are required by lenders to have homeowners insurance. So just because somebody's requiring you to purchase something doesn't make it a right that you have access to.
You have to have the ability.
Inherent, right.
No, and there was a time in not that long ago where people filed insurance claims for everything. And the people who were bidding them are the and I'm going to just go back to the 90s. I would say
that that's still today.
I think they're tightening that up now.
They are, but we're at the very beginning of that.
But I know myself, I've had people say, "Oh, your neighbor had a roof. Let me check your roof." And I'm like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with my roof. Like, my roof's not leaking." Well, oh no, I could get you a roof, and I can up the price of that so you don't pay your deductible. And you're like, well, that feels like fraud.
Yeah.
But they've gotten away with it for decades. And that's how a lot of those roofing companies
survive,
make their money is they make those claims. I know the last time we got a roof, it was not just a roofing company who came out. It was the actual insurance adjuster who the insurance company sent, not me just turning it in.
Yeah.
Kind of like cars. When I was a teenager, if you wrecked your car and you had to get a repair, the check went to who you were using to repair the car. It never went to you where you could not fix the car. How many people do we know that got hail damage checks and never fixed it? None. We know none.
I know none, as Erin cries laughing in the background.
I was not talking about Erin.
She was not talking about Erin because, for the record, she did not know that Erin has hail damage on her car currently that she has not fixed, although she's received the insurance.
And I'm not saying whether I've ever done that, yes or no, because that would
we have to stop and laugh about that for a moment because that's funny.
I had no idea.
Explain yourself, Erin.
No, we're going to cut this part out. Because
no, I think it's a good conversation because I think they're real people that are watching this that are sitting there panicking and laughing because they're like, oh my God, I've done that. I'm going to go to jail for fraud.
Well,
that's what you just said. I know,
but I don't want Erin to go to jail.
I know, and Erin's not going to go to jail. So I think we should take a moment to explain why what Erin has done is not necessarily fraud.
Not necessarily. He's leaving the door open.
We gotta.
It's not fraud because the
what the car is worth now will be.
And here's the key, the linchpin fact that Erin is not knowing right now in the process is that Erin's car doesn't have a loan or a lien against it. So Erin has insurance, and insurance is simply a service that you pay to protect the financial investment of an asset. Period. End of story. All insurances are that, right? They're finance products. They're not safety products.
If you own your house,
they're not maintenance plans.
You don't have to have it.
They're not healthcare maintenance plans. They're not any of those things. Insurance, in essence, is the protection of the financial implications of having an emergency within your life. And so if you don't have or owe that financial asset to anybody else, you can absolutely file an insurance claim, take the money, and put it in your bank account, never fix your car and keep driving it with hail damage because that doesn't bother you. That is 100% not fraud and not illegal. Do you feel better, Erin? Like, let's do it. Let's give it some kind of sound effect to make Erin's panic release.
Magic.
Okay.
No, it's just
now,
like
that being said, people don't understand that, which is what causes the like fluctuation in the insurance rates we're having right now.
As long as Erin doesn't claim the next hailstorm as damage.
When Erin is deciding her right to choose what she does with her financial assets and the fact that she has paid for insurance to cover that financial asset, she should consider and weigh the implications of filing a claim and taking that money.
So take that down.
Now let's shift that over to a house, right?
So I file a claim
on your roof because you got storm damage, hail damage on your roof.
And it's totally different if I have a loan or I don't have a loan.
Correct.
Because if I don't have a loan, it doesn't matter what I do because I'm the one who owns the house.
Correct. You owe nobody else a piece of that house.
It's just like I was sharing with a client this week. A house they want to buy is in the floodplain. So you do not have to have flood insurance. It's not a law.
No, that's not true. But go ahead.
You do not have to have flood insurance if you own your home free and clear.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yes.
Clarification. Yes.
That's where I was getting
Perfect.
before
Got
you
it.
jumped.
Well, I just wanted to make sure. Like that
if you have a loan, a lender is going to require it.
Same way they require homeowners hazard insurance.
Right. So if you have roof damage and you own your house, same with Aaron's car, do what you want.
Free and clear. If you own your house, free and clear.
Free and clear. You own it.
Right.
There's no note from a bank. So now the bank has a note and you get hail damage and you file a claim and you don't fix it. Go down there. Go down that rabbit hole.
So if you have a claim for hail on your house and you have no deed of trust on the house or mortgage on the house, then you can choose whatever you want to do with that money.
We're clear there.
Okay. I'm just establishing the jumping off point, right?
Now you have a loan.
So now you have a loan.
The bank has interest in the condition.
And you're asking me what has to happen?
You get the check for the roof.
Yes.
And you don't fix the roof.
At some point, that piper is going to come call.
That's right.
Calling.
And
whether
that's what
it's
people
today
don't understand.
or 10 years from now, or it could even be after you're dead and your kids are trying to sell the house.
We bought a house to flip. Do you remember that?
I do recall it. Yes.
And when they pulled that information, they said, because we were financing.
And we knew going into the purchase about this claim from the seller because the seller was very ethical and disclosed every single thing they knew about their house and all of the things they've done.
We got the money. We patched it ourselves.
And they admitted to us transparently that we kept a lot of those insurance proceeds and didn't fully fix the roof.
Right.
And so the insurance company may be aware of that.
Right. And so then the lender, I know we ended up not doing a loan, but when we went down that rabbit hole, the lender said, the roof has to be fixed before you buy it. Don't care who fixes it, but you have to have the roof fixed.
Right.
There were three claims paid out on this.
For the property when we purchased it because this particular seller was in foreclosure and they didn't have a lot of time. And so they waited to call us as their realtor until it was too late to put it on the market from a timing standpoint. And so then we pitched it out to our investor circle, which includes us, and made an offer for them that was a little bit higher than the next best investor offer because we knew them personally and they were our client. And, so we purchased the house cash to flip and sell. And when we purchased the house cash, we were aware that the insurance claim hadn't been fixed. So in our renovation budget, we had to replace the roof fully because
before we could get insurance.
We could get insurance if we wanted insurance because nobody was telling us we had to have insurance.
True, but we wanted
But the
insurance.
two of us wanted insurance on the house. So the roof had to be replaced before we could get insurance on it.
Right.
So that was the first renovation that we did, and then we secured the house.
Right.
So the roof of the house wasn't insured because you can also just exclude the roof of a house from being insured, which some lenders allow and some don't.
I was going to say,
but in this particular situation, we owned it, and there was no loan,
but we
so
still
it didn't
want
matter.
to do it.
So we purchased insurance on everything but the roof of the house, replaced the roof, and then put insurance in place on the roof also. Right. Because if we had not done that when we went to sell it after we had renovated it, that buyer would not have been able to get insurance on that roof.
Right.
Because the 1-2 ago owner filed a claim.
Which was what we talked about yesterday.
Which stays with the house, period, until the end of time, until it's proven that the claim has been, I don't know what the word they use is, but fixed
Resolved
or completed, resolved, closed out. And the insurance industry has a database, a master database of every claim that has ever been filed that all insurance companies have an access to.
It's kind of like when you get a ticket in Licking, Missouri.
It's
they
like
know
the
that here.
public record of insurance claims for insurance companies. So it is interesting, yes, so a lot of people don't know that
but
their
I know
claims
a lot of
follow
people
the house and
the
them.
person. Right. That was the big aha yesterday. Somebody thinking, oh, well, whoops.
And likewise with cars, going back to that, if Erin tries to sell her car tomorrow, that claim on her car is going to go with that car. So the next person that tries to insure that car may not be able to get insurance because it has hail damage that hasn't been rectified, is the word that I was looking for a minute ago and just came to me in that conversation. Yeah, I don't think people realize that.
Nope.
See, access to information is like paramount when you're making decisions.
The other point that was made yesterday that I think was new news for a lot of people was you don't always want to make a claim.
No.
Because if you make a $1,500 claim, you've got to look at how much your insurance is going to go up. It's kind of that break-even point. You got
Jacqueline made that point to me and taught me that when I got my brand new truck, which that MSRP on 4 years ago was $75,000, which don't even get me started. Should have never spent that much money on a car.
No.
Admit it on record for everybody to hear. But
it's like
I
a small
did.
House.
And it cost more than my first house did, but neither here nor there. I was driving down Highway 70 and there was a semi to my left. I was in the lane all the way to the right. And there was a truck parked like up over a hill on the shoulder. Well, I was driving 75 maybe because
you were on the phone with me when you hit it and knocked your mirror off because you said, "Oh, I gotta call you back."
Got to call you back. I just took somebody's mirror off their truck. The point of that is I called Jacqueline and said, should I file this on a claim? My deductible was $1,000 at the time on my auto insurance. She told me, go get a quote and see how much it's going to be to replace the mirror yourself. So I did that. The quote was like $1,400 total to take it to the dealership and have it replaced and all of that, which is obnoxiously expensive for a mirror, but neither here nor there. I called her back. I said that. And so she walked me through the implications of, could I file that claim? Yes. And I would get my $300, which could have been necessary and worth it at the time. But I had the financial stability at the time to just pay to have the new mirror put in out of pocket. And the effect of me making that claim was that for the next, what used to be 5 years.
Is now 7, we found out.
And is now 7. We found out yesterday in our Lunch and Learn, that claim would be attached to my personal insurance score for the next 5 years. So every renewal period, every 6 months, I'm going to be rated as a higher risk of making a claim, which is going to drive the
Is that
cost
on your
of my
home insurance too?
Open. It's on all insurances. Because it follows me. The claim follows me, and it speaks to this, what Jacqueline said yesterday. And a lot of realtors got this. Like a lot of our agents, it discombobulated their understanding in their brain. There was a moment of unclarity in this conversation, was that it does follow you, and they couldn't really grasp or understand that how an auto insurance claim could affect your homeowner's insurance rate.
It's kind of like there were years where if you didn't pay your utility bill, it didn't affect your credit. So people were like, just, don't pay your light bill.
They don't pay it, right.
But it's all part of the big picture. It weighs more if you don't pay your house payment, but if you don't pay any bill, it affects your credit score. Same with if you're someone who's always claiming everything, an insurance company, which we, again, know are for profit, are going to look at you as like, yeah, why would we want to insure her when she makes 3 claims a year? We know she's a bad risk for us.
Right. No, and it's complicated and it's convoluted and it's so much red tape, and as realtors we know that's like.
Bottom line, have an insurance agent.
I was wrapping it up and I was going to actually quote our insurance agent and thank her for being an awesome insurance agent again, but we can go with your version if you'd like.
Count that up.
Oh, I think the biggest takeaway from yesterday's Lunch and Learn with Jacqueline was that there's so much red tape in the insurance industry. And you and I are sitting here talking like we're insurance experts right now, and we're not. We're realtors. And
don't claim to be that at all.
Experts on red tape in the real estate world, like, what that means for our clients and our realtors. But the importance of having a reliable, knowledgeable, and available insurance agent like we do with Jacqueline is undeniable in a real estate business. So we had that, set it up.
We've had several people say that they canceled that and went with online. It's kind of like having an online lender. You need a person. You need the expert.
Yeah. It's complicated.
Because when you need them, you need them.
Yeah. So rely on the people who are smarter than you. Yeah. Thanks, Jacqueline. 100%. Rely on the people that are smarter than you and better at you than the things you are. What is going on in real estate?
In the headlines, a Senate bill would force investor to sell rental homes.
Okay, immediate reaction to that headline. I don't like it when the government's trying to force me to do something.
And I'm already like, do it.
I know. I don't like to be told what to do at all.
But there's a reason.
Tell us the reason. Read the article to us.
So the Senate is considering new housing legislation that would require large institutional investors to sell newly built single-family rental homes to individuals within 7 years of completion.
Okay, so let's digest the facts to that first and establish them before we.
There's more to it, though. That bill has a lot more.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's establish the facts before we give our opinion on it. Because right now I'm feeling not very good about that bill.
And I've already read the whole thing, so I'm feeling a different way.
Well, so have I, but I'm just, like in my head, I established some facts after reading it. But go ahead. Okay, so the facts. What are the facts? The facts in that are that the Senate is talking about a bill right now that would limit institutional buyers from building houses to hold forever as rental properties. And the term on that is 7 years right now. That's what they're looking at. So
okay.
To summarize those facts for me.
The government wants to limit to 7 years the term that a investor, what would you call them?
Institutional investor.
A large investor, not a chatteranny. Yeah.
Right. Not a mom and pop.
From being able to build homes and hold them long term, they have to be able to sell them within 7 years. That has to be a part of their model. Put them back. They can't just be landlords forever.
So the government is going to force large institutional investors that are currently building single family rentals. Is it just single family or is it multifamily?
And this article just said single family.
Yeah.
Okay. So single family doesn't qualify, like our apartment complexes, single family is defined, my understanding of that definition is 4 units or less.
It doesn't even say that, but that would be
that's the conventional understanding, right? So we're talking about the government telling corporate investors that they can no longer build 4 unit or less buildings to hold as rental properties. They must sell those within 7 years of completing the build.
Yes. Give us another fact of this bill.
Pretty much supporters are arguing that the measure would expand opportunities for traditional home buyers and curb institutional ownership of housing. Then you have home builders, so the National Association.
Wait. Say that one more time. Let's just digest that. Because I don't know that I agree with that supporter statement.
Yeah, so supporters argue the measure would expand opportunities for traditional home buyers and curb institutional ownership of housing.
I think it is going to curb institutional home ownership of housing. That's a given. I don't see how that's going to expand opportunities for home ownership purchases because if I was
to purchase.
Only if the builders continue to build them. Which if I was an institutional builder and you told me I couldn't hold it more than 7 years,
yeah, so maybe
I would never build it to begin with.
So then maybe the mom or pop builders could start building them again. They wouldn't be beat out by those
That's a
institution of builders.
possibility.
So I think my understanding is the whole point of it is that the government's trying to swing the pendulum back. It went this way, and they're trying to swing it back so that there is more opportunity for a single family homeowner to buy it directly and not get beat out or outbid or outplayed by those large corporations.
Right.
So that's the point of this bill.
My understanding is this bill, that headline, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it was introduced by Elizabeth Warren and Tim Scott, right? Yes?
Supporters of the bill, including Senators Tim Scott and Elizabeth Warren.
Okay, so one of them is a Democrat and one of them is a Republican, correct? Or are they both Democrats?
This article does not say.
Okay. I think one of them is a Republican and one of them, I'm not sure on Tim Scott. I know that Elizabeth Warren is Democrat. And the only reason I'm saying that is this is not a standalone bill, I don't believe. It's an amendment to a larger housing bill that's being discussed. So Elizabeth Warren and Tim Scott have introduced this as part of that bipartisan bill, which passed the House on first vote, I believe, 88 to whatever the leftovers are in the House, which is 100. So 88 to 12. So it's largely bipartisan support from the Senate. This part is getting some pushback, I think, because of my assertion there that it's going to inadvertently potentially cause homes to stop being built, which lowers available homes. And I think that the perspective that you said there was a good possibility, but I think that if that's the case, we need to check in the bill language to make sure that because rental property is also home.
I think
like
you got to put
availability of homes. I don't want to curb the production of rental property.
Yeah, and I don't think when I read the whole thing, I don't think that. I mean, this is one tiny piece of it.
Right.
The other bigger piece is those other corporations who were given favor, if you will, after the crash in 08.
Yeah.
To buy those.
Okay, well, that was a charged allegation, but go ahead.
To buy those, I think the government's trying to write their own. I'm not saying it was a mistake, but I know we had talked before. One of the reasons was not to have government involved, but a lot of those corporations have those now because government got involved to save itself when we had the crash. So what this bill proposes now is that they will have so many years to start selling those back. I think it's 10% a year for 10 years to start putting those back in the market. That's how I understood that bill, was the government said, okay, we already stepped in once after the crash, and we did not let single family owners buy those because we were dumping them, 500 at a time to these large corporations for basically free money at 1% to get them off their books. And then nothing ever happened. And now then they started building them and started doing all of that. My perception could be wrong, but it was just them trying to right that ship a little bit and say, now, our first time home buyers are 40 years old. And some of that reason is there just isn't the inventory out there.
Yeah.
They're going to start putting that back in.
When I pull up the bill that we're talking about on the Senate website, so it gives you that, like the why of why the bill is on the floor and where it came from and all of that. And it is Tim Scott's a Republican from South Carolina, Elizabeth Warren, who's been around forever, is a Democrat from Massachusetts. And they work together to create this bill, and it's framed around 4 pillars. That's the way that they pitched the bill, of cutting red tape, unlocking housing supply, lowering costs for families, and maintaining budget neutrality, meaning no new mandatory spending on the government's part.
Okay.
So
that was 3. What was I missed one.
Cutting red tape.
Oh, okay.
So my concern is that if the pillar of the bill, in order to accomplish what you just said, which I believe is the intent from these 2 senators, if the pillar of the bill is cutting red tape, it's an oxymoron to say that we're going to put a new regulation in place to accomplish the pillar.
I think the goal of the bill is to have more houses and make it more affordable and more possible. That's not the right sentence, but is so that people can buy houses again and they're not they're not being forced to be renters because these large corporations had that opportunity, which they took, but now it's trying to fix that. It's not just to cut the red tape. It's so that there's houses for Americans to buy.
Right.
To have the American dream of homeownership.
Fundamentally get scared with that because of what I said earlier, which is I don't believe housing is a right. It's a privilege. And in America's system, it's dangerous every time the government steps in to try to, ever since 1930-something, don't remember the exact year, when the New Deal was signed into law, the government has shifted their marketing or positioning of what a right is to the citizens. And that makes me nervous that the population at large, I don't believe, understands the difference between a right and a non-right right now. And I think that the government has caused that, and they're still trying to fix it. But the best way to fix that is to stop regulating non-rights.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I agree with you.
Right.
On the
But you're just saying you
level.
can't unring a bell that's already been rung.
Well, the government shouldn't have stepped in 2008 to fix it. They should have let it crash. They should have let it bottom out, but we're not them.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Monday morning quarterbacking. We don't know what would have happened. And the government said, from where we sit right now, if we don't step in, we're going to crash the economy. So what you're saying, I agree with, but they already stepped in. So now they're trying to fix it.
Yeah, and my concern is that trying to fix that, what they're trying to fix, what I just heard you say they're trying to fix is we put a bunch of red tape in place to make sure that people were secure.
No.
What is red tape?
No,
What?
That's not what they're trying to fix. What they're trying to fix is they're the ones who gave these corporations the seat at the table. They said, listen, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they approved all these mortgages. They all went south. They were selling them in big conglomerations to these companies for no money.
Your timeline's a little bit off there, I
It
believe.
was 2008.
We'd have to check the facts, but I believe that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac both came from Dodd-Frank, which was the regulation that was put in place by the government in response to the financial crisis of 2008. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were the result of the crash that you're talking about, not the symptom.
Maybe. But the facts
fact check me on that.
But the fact
Aaron.
still happened that they sold those, that they conglomerated those, and they said, "Hey, you and Wall Street investors, we got a deal for you over here because we need you to bail us out." Mm-hmm. And so then
government intervention caused this.
So you and I couldn't go buy those houses because they were selling them 500 at a time.
Right.
So
because we didn't have the money to purchase those at the time.
So when you're arguing that you're scared that government's getting involved, I guess my argument back is they're the reason that they are involved. We've got to fix it. They got to fix what they did. They created this monster.
I know, and my point that I made, and I agree with you on that, the point that I made is that if the issue or the action that was taken that caused the problem was instituting Fannie and Freddie, which are regulatory bodies, in other words, red tape, on the mortgage industry, if that was the cause of the situation we're in today, putting more red tape on top of that is not going to fix it.
But are they putting more red tape or are they removing red tape?
That's a great question. I hear that.
I hear it as removing. You hear it as adding.
More, and that's why we have dissenting opinions on it, which is all right. Right? I don't know what the right answer is because I don't have a crystal ball, and neither do you. Right? That's just my opinion based on what I know.
I just want to advocate for home buyers, and so I'm happy with them removing some of those.
So I went
privileges.
I want to advocate for home buyers too, and I think that the organization that we're a member of, the National Association of Realtors, has a mission of advocating for homeowners as well as realtors. And so one of the things that I did was went and looked at what the association's opinion is on this, and they are issuing both sides of it because they don't want to take a side. Mm-hmm. So their opinion is it's slightly possible, which is also my opinion that I think we've come to, and your opinion, that it's possible that may help more homeowners get in the short term.
Right.
But I don't know that it's going to fix the problem forever.
We don't know.
Yeah.
If we did, we'd be.
That would be the National Association standpoint on it, which I trust their opinion, I guess is,
Yeah.
So a third opinion for you. You got Chad, Podunk Chad's opinion, Podunk Annie's opinion, and then the National Association of Realtors as of today. That's one tiny piece of that bill. That bill is massive, and there's sweeping changes to the way that the home loan and investment world works right now. So I'm excited about that bill. I think the bill overall is going to be a good thing. I'm just not sure that amendment needs to make it in there. And just for the record, that bill also still has to go back to the House and be passed. And there's still an opportunity for the House to add their little personal opinions in there as they will. So we're far from actually knowing
for
anything.
Homeowners.
But yeah, we are paying attention. And realtors should be paying attention to that crap if you're not. So, well, that was a fun one. Lots of drama going on in the real estate industry and in the world.
I was worried when that one showed up today because I was like, we're going to argue because we're on the opposite side.
Yeah, but arguing is a good thing as long as we do it.
Conversation.
Yeah, arguing, debate. Debate is a good thing, but we need to follow debate rules when we have these conversations.
I didn't join debate club.
In my head. I know, I do. I'm saying we. I'm talking about me and the voices in my head, not you.
All right, let's go.
What the floop?
What the floop?
What the floop? Doing a little bit of a different spin on what the floop. Thought this would create good conversation. So I found this fact, and it said about a third of sellers try for sale by owner. And actually only 1 in 10 actually pull it off.
I like that spin on what the floop. Just an astonishing fact that we didn't know, and then we digest that and what it means for us. I like that spin.
So 10 people out there say, I can do this without a realtor, and only 1 out of those 10 actually
Well, there was another
close the
stat
sale.
in there. Read it one more time.
Around 1/3 of U.S. home sellers start by trying to sell without an agent.
1/3. That's
1 out of every 3 home sellers in the United States start their sale process without the involvement of a realtor.
Yeah, I want to know what that is here because I don't think that's here, but how would I know?
Now, only 1 out of 10 of them actually end up accomplishing it.
Right. Which that I truly believe.
Knowing that fact makes me see the conversations I have with people that are wanting to sell their house very differently all of a sudden.
That's why I wanted to share it.
Yeah.
Say more.
Like I'm sitting here thinking like some of the things that people say to me when we're talking about listing their house and selling their house are so what the floop-ish. Like, where are you pulling that from? Like that doesn't,
Yeah, do you have an example? I'm not tracking yet.
I don't, but and I probably wouldn't give one even if I had one because I don't want to talk bad about clients. But this is all an internal dialogue that I have when I'm having a conversation with a client. Is somebody comes to you and they state something to you like it's a fact, and you go, "Am I the realtor or are you the realtor?" inside your head.
Yeah.
And I get very frustrated with those people because you're coming to me and asking me for my help to sell your house, which
Wait, they're coming to you and asking you to help them sell their house by owner?
No, they're just coming to me and saying that, right? So I'm just going through all of the clients I've had, and then I'm going, okay, so 1 in 3 of all of the clients I've had a conversation with have already attempted in some fashion to sell their house without me. And it gives you light into the conversation all of a sudden that you had when you go through those conversations. Like
I don't think those people are calling us though, because I don't know.
Oh yeah, they are, because
I'm just doing our clients. I don't know that we've ever had a client that said, I tried to sell it by myself and I couldn't do it. Now I'm calling you. That's not 1 out of 3 of our clients. I can't think of a single one that's ever said
that you know of.
Well,
do you ask them all? Did you try to sell your house before
I would think
you
that would be
me?
a piece of information that I tried to sell it by myself. Now, we have an agent here who does a very good job of converting for sale by owners to selling them. But
yeah, I don't know about you, but for me, if I tried to sell my house by myself and then couldn't do it and had to hire a realtor to sell it, would never tell that realtor I tried to do it by myself. I would never volunteer that information.
I think you would stumble across it somewhere. Yeah.
Where?
I don't know. Zillow?
I don't look at Zillow listings before I list a house. Like, I don't go on Zillow and look to see if the house has been listed on Zillow recently. I just put it in the MLS, which I know overrides all of the Zillow listings.
Yeah, I don't know. That's my thought is those are not our clients. But
I think if that study is accurate or well-founded, that research study that's making that allegation, assertion point, is that if that's true, if we accept that to be a fact, you can't say it's not our clients, because it is, because we've served more than 3 clients. So probability and math says if we've served 300 clients, only 100 of them didn't try to do it, whether we know about it or not. That thought process is intriguing to me from the seller's standpoint. Like, if I knew my clients probably had tried to sell their house before they called me, I'd probably approach the situation different.
Yeah, that's why I'm the one who I go on those listings. I just believe in all those conversations. I mean, you would even see, I think, that a house had been tried to sold. They would have already gone through some of their stuff, or they would have already fixed some things, or it's just not the experience I have. Not saying it's not true out there, but.
And also, but your experience also has blind spots in it, just like mine does too,
Maybe.
right? So, like, I'm trying to sit here and hear that and go, what blind spots do I have right now? Maybe our clients are doing that. That's how I'm approaching that in my head. So, I don't know. I'd be interested if you're a client watching this of ours.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point too. That's who's watching. So, like, as a realtor, what are you going to do with that information? Because what I'm going to do with that information is now all of a sudden I have a new perspective when I'm talking to clients, because I know in my head, if that study's accurate.
What would that change, having that perspective?
What's going to change my bias in the conversation? What I assume the person already knows or doesn't know.
Give me an example.
So if you've already tried to sell your house, then you already have played around with Zillow and how Zillow puts listings on Zillow and all of that, which if I don't know that you've done that, I'm going to assume you had no reason to do that and you're ignorant to that. So I'm going to approach that conversation very differently than if I assume everybody has tried to sell their house by themselves on Zillow. They have some level of base understanding of how Zillow works. And that's just one very
I think I
small...
probably already asked enough questions that I think I would get there. But
so your response to that is, as a realtor, you need to make sure that your buyer questionnaire or your questions that you're asking your client establish some sort of baseline as to do they understand what it takes to sell their house.
How we train our agents. My very first thing with any buyer or seller is the why. And I think in my searching their why, that would almost have to come up. Even if you were embarrassed that you tried to do it, I think that would come up in the why. Because that's the very first thing I go for. Because I need to understand why I'm here, why you've called me, why, what are your goals? I have to understand that to serve you.
Well, I'm, as a person sitting here next to me, no matter how good you are, I am telling you, if I tried to, I personally, I'm speaking as Chad
I'm calling you out. I think you would say it first thing to me. I tried to sell it myself.
I would.
Okay.
But I have a trusted, long-lasting relationship with you. If I tried to sell it myself because I didn't have a realtor as a best friend, there is no way a random realtor off the street would ever know. I would actually...
We have our own filters.
I would actually deny it if I was asked. Like, I'm being totally honest and transparent as a client of a realtor that I did not have a very close relationship with. If I had tried to sell my house by myself, I would do everything in my power to make sure that realtor never found that out.
Well, I do think, bringing it back to your point,
which is where I'm pulling my new perspective from also. It's my own biases.
With 1 in 10, it is also a great, if we could source this fact and make sure it is a fact, this is great information. The next time you run across someone that says they're going to sell their house, we're going to say, you got a 1 in 10 shot of doing it. Are you sure?
Well, the other piece that I want to say to realtors is the opportunity that's in there, which you started to hit on with our agent in there. If 1 in 3 people try and only 1 in 10 people succeed, then if you math that out all the way, that means that, so 3 times 10 is 30. So that's the total clients we do. Now we need to spread that math out and say from the beginning it was 1 in 3. So what's 1/3 of 30? That's 10. So 10 in 30 clients try to sell their house. And if only 1 out of 10 do, then 1/10 of 30 actually succeed. What's 1/10 of 30? Is 3. So of 30 clients, of 30 for sale by owners that a realtor would talk to.
You're just back to the 1/10, 1 out of 10. You just took yourself right back to it.
Of 30 clients or people that try to sell their house for sale by owner, only 3 of them survive. So if you are focused on finding the 27 that end up using a realtor.
Or not selling. It didn't say they use a realtor.
No, it didn't. It did say they use a realtor. Yes, it did. Read it to me one more time. That was the whole point.
About 1/3 of sellers try for sale by owner. Only 1 in 10 actually pull it off.
It doesn't say they then hire a realtor and sell it.
But still.
Well, so that changes your thought.
It does change it a little bit, but the opportunity is still there.
Because you inferred that.
I did, because the opportunity is still
there.
I
didn't hear it
so
there.
So now you would need to go find, of the 27 that didn't, how many of them picked a realtor and sold it through a realtor, and how many of them just didn't sell their house.
Yes, you would need that piece if you're going to go after that. Because I think a lot of people, we've seen them for sale by owners out there, and then they just go away. And even our agent has called them. Now you've named him. So Joe.
Joe Reese.
Has called them. And a lot of them just say, I threw it out there. I tried. I didn't sell it. I'm just going to stay.
Be a fun interview to have with Joe Reese. Maybe we'll put that as our candid conversation.
But I know he's closed a couple, But it's great information for him to have as he's calling them to say, statistically, you're not going to be successful. But saying that in a more helpful
positive,
way.
helpful, supportive way.
Right. And let me show you how, is it money? Because I could probably get you the same bottom line that you're wanting to get and do all the work for you. Like that's the trick in converting them.
Should our friends expect a follow-up candid conversation with Joe Reese about this?
Sure.
You going to interview him?
Sure.
All right. Watch for it. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, so you get notified when that candid conversation drops.
See you next time.
Bye. All right, that's a wrap on another week of chaos, closings, and questionable decisions.
If this episode made you laugh, think, or text your real estate bestie like, girl, this is us, do us a favor.
Hit that subscribe button, leave a quick review, follow us on socials, or send us your own unhinged real estate stories. Seriously, we want to share them.
And hey, don't just survive this week. Get out there and build your business.
You've got everything it takes.
We'll be back next week with more chaos and more clarity.
Until then,
keep waking up to win.